Hello, everybody. Chad Harris here. On this video, we have Chris Mayfield and Kurt and Elizabeth Phillips joining us for a discussion. And both of them have been on the channel before, sharing their stories, how they got involved in real estate and really what they do. Today, we are all talking about a new mastermind that we are starting together, the Elevate Mastermind Group. And the purpose of the group is to help people get their businesses to the next level. So all of us have benefited from coaching and masterminds, and we're really excited starting this new group to be involved, meeting weekly, encouraging others, sharing experiences, sharing new information, so that together we can get where we want to be. So in this interview or discussion, we're going to talk about what a mastermind is, what the meetings will be like, really what the benefits are that we've seen from masterminds in our own life, and what each of our backgrounds are, what experience we bring to the table. So I hope you enjoy. If you're interested in applying for the mastermind or getting more information beyond this video, you can go to the website truewealthinvestors.com/mastermind. I look forward to talking to you. Okay, welcome everybody. Today I have a different kind of episode. I have multiple guests here, and we are talking about a new group that we are starting. So you know me, my name's Chad Harris with True Wealth Investors. We also have Chris Mayfield, who has been on multiple times, multiple episodes out of Arizona. And we have Kurt and Elizabeth Phillips, who have been on sharing their story as well. And they're out of the Lancaster, Ohio area. So welcome everybody. Appreciate you coming on and sharing your perspective and information.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right. Well, one of the reasons we're here today is to talk a little bit about kind of sharpening your skills and surrounding yourself with people that are doing some of the same things that you're wanting to do, or maybe are even in the midst of doing. Even before we started recording this, we were kind of sharing some of our strategies and how we're trying to accomplish some things in real estate. So today we're going to talk just a little bit about why a mastermind and why specifically Elevate Mastermind, that the four of us are coming together to begin to collaborate and open up to others. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into some questions. Chad, this is your podcast. It's been a part of your heart to do something like this. Tell me why a mastermind?
Well, so I was a teacher, right? Teacher, missionary. That's my heart, is just to serve and help others. And so when I went into real estate, I always looked for ways in the business to be able to still have that part of me be active, helping others and serving others. And I've been in multiple masterminds and seen, huge benefits just from being accountable to other people, sharing what their experience, benefiting from their struggles and their hard-earned lessons, and not having to go through those on my own. And so I thought I would really enjoy the opportunity to help other people build their businesses, take their businesses to the next level. And knowing you guys with similar hearts and passions, guys and gals, Elizabeth, sorry, I thought this was a great opportunity for us to collaborate and people to really have a bunch of experience and backgrounds, all working together and all to be benefited from. That was my initial idea behind it.
Yeah, and it's not really I don't feel like any of us are coming saying that we're experts and you need to listen to us. It's more of a Socratic environment of let's sit at a table and learn and sharpen one another. Not obviously there are going to be people that we highlight and people in expertise in certain areas that all of us want to glean understanding. So it's definitely not a hey, listen to us. It's a we have some experience, but we want to create an environment where people can come and get maybe over the hump or get to the next level or maybe even begin. So in regards to that, Kurt and Elizabeth, you guys decide who goes first, but why would you encourage somebody to even consider joining something like a mastermind?
Yeah, so we've been really fortunate to have coaches and mentors along our path that have, we've made a lot of our own mistakes, but you can either learn by experience or learn from other people's experience. And we've been fortunate that we've learned by other people's mistake quite a bit, that were willing to share with us and willing to be open with us. And that has made a huge difference for us. And that's why we feel so strongly with even mastermind, or having something where people can come together and share what it is, like where they're at, what they're trying to accomplish in their business, and really get feedback from multiple people, because that's made all the difference for us. And we run a meetup here in Lancaster. It's free. We don't charge anything for it, because one of the reasons we want to collaborate, we want to bring people together, so that they can feel like they're part of something, and also that they're not, because you guys know that as entrepreneurs, sometimes we can feel like we're flying solo. That nobody else is going through this problem. Like, you're trying to figure out how to fund a deal, right? That's like the quintessential. I have no money. How do I fund this deal? Nobody else has this problem, and you can't sleep at night.
Yeah,
but,
nobody's ever had that problem before.
Right. Yeah. Right. But to come to a group like this and to vent that, and for everybody to say, oh yeah, this is what I did, this is what I experienced, I think is huge.
And just to chime in too, as far as having a mastermind and having that intentionality, I think was really key for us. And what we see with our private clients and coaching is that when somebody has that scheduled and set community, even though right now it's over Zoom, that there are relationships that are built, and there's just some built-in natural camaraderie and connection. And we really found that when we invested, like obviously there's tons of free things. We love doing our free group, but when we invested our money into a connection point where we were getting mentorship, where we had that community, then we paid for it. We made sure we were going to be fully taking action in that group. So there is a place for learning, and by all means, take full advantage of free things. But when there is an investment, we understand as real estate investors the return on investment. And we are so happy for the amount of money that we invested into education and groups like this, because it produced far more than what it cost, exponential more results, because we had that connection and community, and we actually took the action that needed to happen and had real-time feedback. So that's one of the reasons that we really believe in mastermind, in working together and having a group like this.
So Chad, when you were thinking about this, what kind of, like, if you were to fast forward, 6 months and we're in it, what does a typical mastermind that's going to be virtual look like, as far as a basic skeleton structure of how something like this would go, showing kind of the benefit of what people, or why people would want to join something like that? What would that structure look like?
Yeah, definitely. So for me personally, I've been in 2 masterminds. One was virtual and one was in person. And I've seen a lot of benefits to both. And one real benefit to the virtual mastermind is there's not that lingering sense of competition like you have at a local mastermind, where you want to share how you do your business, but not all the secrets, right? Like you're going to lose a deal to somebody. So I think there's an extra level of openness on a virtual mastermind, where you can share everything about what you're doing. You can be fully encouraging of everybody else in the group. In the structure of the meeting is that once a week, we meet online on a Zoom call like this discussion here. And a couple members of the group will have time where they share specifics about their business, what things are going well, what things they're struggling with, get feedback from the group, and be able to benefit from the experience and perspective of the group. And then there'll be a section of the meeting that's led by the host, where they'll present a specific topic, information they've prepared, And then the group will be able to talk about applications of that information. How does that affect our business? How will that help our business get to the next level? And there'll be some kind of assignment or takeaway to help you for the week ahead before the next meeting. So that's the general structure. You have accountability, encouragement, information, and it's a good push for you to go for the week ahead.
Okay. Kurt, a lot of times when even myself, when I'm going to things like this and I'm going to be rubbing shoulders with what I think are people that are successful, whether they are or not, they've portrayed themselves in such a way that I believe that they're very active and they're doing really well. How would you encourage somebody who's like, I did a deal, I assigned a property, or I bought my first flip, or, but I've still kind of got an 8 to 5 job, but I'm really wanting a transition. But how would I be of any value coming into a group like this? And also the intimidation factor of these people are doing this for a lifestyle and I'm not. How would you, as you're having a conversation with someone, show them the benefit of, hey, it's not about that. Just jump full feet, go all in?
That's a great question. And a lot of it comes down to, well, first of all, that was me. I don't know if you knew that, and maybe but that was me as a UPS driver for 12 years, and blue collar through and through. I've grown up doing concrete and all that. And when I was intimidated by bankers, I was intimidated by attorneys and accountants and all of them. And I just was, because I felt like they were so far above me of where I was. And so, we all have to start somewhere. And in this environment, in this community, especially when it comes to investors, especially with like Chris and Chad and all of us, and my guess is the people that are going to be part of this mastermind, like we want to share, like we want to lift each other up. Rising tide raises all ships, and it really does. And so I would want to see someone that would come in. Maybe they feel intimidated at the beginning, but don't worry about it. Like, just come in and be willing to learn. Let your heart on your sleeve. And if you are passionate about whatever, you don't have to be passionate about real estate necessarily, but if you're passionate about your goals, where you're going, what you want to achieve through real estate, you're going to do great. I mean, you're going to be able to glean so much from this. And so I guess that's what I would just tell them. Just jump in, and no matter whatever you've done, if you have a goal and something you want to pursue, even if you've never done a deal, but you're really passionate about getting out of your job or doing this or getting out of debt or becoming a missionary, like Chad and his family, whatever it is, if you're passionate about that and you believe that real estate can be that vehicle to get you there, whether you've done a deal or not, carry that passion into something like this and you'll see results.
Elizabeth, would you want to add anything, like from the dynamic of a couple? We'll definitely hit on this, that if you do have a partner, you both want to be on the same page, because you're both going to be underneath the stress pressure of the process, because it's entrepreneurial. It's stepping out and doing something a little bit different. I mean, even though we know thousands and millions of people have gone before us and bought a house and rehabbed it and sold it, it feels dramatically different when you take out the loan or get hard money or private money to do that. I mean, I just got my mentor in ministry just lended to me on a rehab in Memphis, and we've done this before, but now it's like somebody I know, so I'm a little bit, a little more terrified. Like we got to perform. So would you speak to that in the sense of, as a couple, would a couple benefit, as opposed to just singular? Would a couple benefit coming to something like this? And just a little bit about, kind of address that a little bit.
Sure. And obviously, we want to encourage people to work together with, and especially oftentimes as a couple. And you see this on HGTV and it looks all wonderful, and it's definitely a growing experience. It is a challenge. There are some growth moments and heated discussions. And regardless of which spouse is the visionary and which spouse is the administrative, a lot of times people that we work with, the one or the other will take the lead on it, and that's fine. But there has to be support. And what we found is the more that we could be together at the different meetings or mentorships or things, we were pulling in the same direction, even if we had different roles and different preferences, different areas of expertise. The more that you can be in unity, the faster you can go. And I do credit a lot of our growth and success to the fact that we could work together. And we will also 100,000,000% be authentic to say it is a work in progress. It is something that we are both passionate about, but we have to work hard at. When you work together in business, we went from he was gone on a 9-to-5 job all the time and I was homeschooling the children to both being in business together. It was like starting over. It was like being married all over again, because we had to get to know each other again after being married for 15, 20 years. So we definitely encourage couples to experience this together whenever possible, even if one spouse is just there for moral support. It does help when you're both on the same page and pulling in the same direction and experiencing the same information, because one may take it in differently. And like I said before, one may be the visionary, one may be the implementer and administrative person. And that way you can accomplish your goals so much faster. And it really is, honestly, it's a lot more fun when you hit your goals as a couple. It's a lot more fun to do it that way.
Well, I don't know about in you guys' marriages, but in mine, me and my wife hear things differently. If we go to a meeting, what I hear and take away is usually not what she hears and take away, which leads to the polite word of conversation of what step needs to take place next. My step might be dramatically different. And so sometimes getting in a group like this and just hearing the battles, even the horror stories or the victories, kind of begin to encourage, like, okay, we're not the only one that struggles. We're not the only one that argues. We're not the only one that maybe has a different idea of how we should, what step we should take next in the process of what we're doing in real estate. So I think something that would be great, Chad, is maybe sharing a little bit of our own journey of how we've arrived here in regards to maybe if you were doing something before real estate to where you're at today. Just some of the highlights so that people can see that we're just normal people that have chosen to use, as Kurt said, vehicle of real estate to accomplish and to head towards some of the goals that we want to go towards.
Yeah, definitely. I was a high school English teacher, loved teaching and helping the students in that capacity. And then eventually my family moved to Kenya. We were missionaries in Kenya in a rural setting among the Turkana tribe, and had a lot of great experiences there. Great work, great friends that were, because of technology, still able to be in touch with, which is pretty awesome. And in 2012, we came back to the States and our job ended, and I had to jump into real estate really to pay the bills, to make ends meet. So I don't know that I thought real estate was what I wanted to do, but I wanted to pay the bills and I wanted my kids to have a good life. And once I got into it, I really enjoy it. So I, built a large portfolio, or I built a portfolio. And somewhere, it was about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, I had reached my goals. In the beginning, I had these goals. I'm very driven. I had to achieve these goals, and I had reached them. And I was just miserable and knew that I was missing something. And I didn't know what it was. Didn't really know what the solution was. And that's when I hired a coach for the first time, which was very humbling to me because I'd never done it before. And just by hiring him and him having an outside perspective, he was able to guide me into some solutions with the business, just making a few changes, and the business got much easier. The problem smoothed out. We started growing again. I was happy again. My wife was happier again, you know, because I was happy. So it is amazing what a difference that makes. And so once I built a management company to handle our rentals and took that off my plate, I was very excited to start the podcast and the YouTube channel and coaching and now the mastermind as a way to help other people get their businesses and their lives where they want them to be. So
just to touch on quickly, what would be kind of your day-to-day in regards to just real estate? What are you doing kind of day-to-day in just real estate? Not the podcast or mastermind, but just the actual part of real estate.
Just real estate. You know, it's like asking a missionary what their normal day is. Who knows, man? My typical tasks that I have, you know, I check my assistant's to-do list. We have a shared to-do list, see if there's anything she needs from me and make sure she's on track. I don't really need to hold her accountable. She's super driven too. But I check to see what she's doing. Usually call the contractors once a day, see where we're at on projects. If there are any extreme tenant problems, then I deal with those. If they're, you know, beyond my assistant's ability or desire to deal with, then those fall on my plate. And then, you know, looking for new deals. So dealing with lenders, I deal with all the lenders, raising more money for new deals.
And you would say what are the strategies that you right now are doing in real estate? There are many different types of ways to do real estate, but what would be the ones that you're doing today? And then I'm going to ask one other question. What's one that maybe you've been thinking about that you would like to get into?
Yeah, my bread and butter deals or my bread and butter strategies, I raise private money. And so I'm used to that from ministry. So I raise a lot of money from private lenders, people looking for an alternative investment to the stock market. And I'll basically do the BRRRR strategy with their money, where I'll purchase the property and then refinance it out either with another lender or bank doing portfolio loans. And I do a lot of creative financing too. So I'll do land contracts or subject twos or whatever, like the deal I was talking to you guys about before. It's a unique creative deal, you know, that very well may be the ideal scenario for me and the seller. So I like those creative strategies.
Okay.
Moving forward, I've got this guy in my mastermind who is all about apartments, and we actually have coming up, a new episode coming up, a debate you actually want to watch, where we will debate apartments versus single family homes. And he's swinging me, you know, I'm starting to think maybe apartments would be a good deal. So
I've got one that we can all go in on.
Which is why you need to have mastermind right there. That little exchange is why you need the mastermind.
That's right. That's it. Definitely.
That's a debate. There's actually a couple other guys. Tim Bratz, I don't know him. He's an apartment guy. And Dave, last name starts with a P. I won't pronounce it right. But they're about to have a big showdown. The Dave guy is a single family and the Tim guy is all multi. They're going to have a big, healthy, big time breakdown of the battle. So I'll be interested to watch yours and see what the data is. So Kurt and Elizabeth, tell me a little bit about your journey, your history from UPS to what you're doing now. The kind of I guess like Chad said, the bread and butter of what you guys do daily, and then you know what's something that you guys are talking about. Maybe some people like what they are doing and just want to add more of that. Tell me a little bit about what your journey, what you do, and then what's a goal maybe in the future.
Okay. So like I said, I work at UPS for 12 years. Started out as actually a youth pastor and transitioned, became a full-time job. And I enjoyed doing that work. I never believed they would pay me that much money to drive a truck and deliver packages. So that was hard to pass up. But for me, it was kind of like I was wearing somebody else's shoes. As I like to say, it was a great job. I enjoyed parts of it, but it's not necessarily what we wanted for our lives. Not that there's anything wrong with it. It was just for us and our vision. And so we did start out, our first home that we bought like 16 years ago was a duplex. We lived in half of it, rented out the other half. That's when we realized that people will pay us money to live in it. Like that was just I don't know why I didn't envision that happening, but it was unbelievable when we started getting checks because they were living there. But yeah, so then throughout my, as I was UPS, we added a few more buildings and a few more units and just kind of was dabbling in real estate. And at the time also, we started a financial company where we're actually doing financial coaching and mentoring. But we were actually selling the materials so that people could go through them and, and then we would kind of coach based off of that. And that was a great added stream of income for us. And so it was growing so much that in November 2016, we thought, hey, with our rentals and with this, let's leave my job and become full-time entrepreneurs. And so I did. And
I was pregnant with baby number 6. That
is the stinger. Did I mention UPS had really good benefits? And
we lost them.
So left UPS and literally a month later, now our income was actually tied to an organization that dictated what we would be paid. So we weren't true business owners, right? We were still underneath of this umbrella. And there was the compensation plan that they had, actually they cut or they restructured it. And our income went down almost 90%. I don't even know. I even say that today. And I mean, you talk about an oh crap moment, like that was it. And, so we had a nest egg. We fortunately had savings. We had coached financial coaching. And fortunately, we did what we taught. And so we had a nest egg and we had some real estate, but it was a matter of, well, what do we do now? And real estate was the one thing that we knew. And so we jumped in totally. We did exactly what Chad did. Even though we had a limited amount of funds, we had no income coming in, we hired a coach. Like I just knew that I had mentors speaking into my life up to that point that I knew I needed somebody that was way past where I was. So we hired a coach and we had them for a year, and it was remarkable. We were able to grow in real estate, and we were able to surpass what I was making at UPS in a pretty, and I don't want to try and give time frames, but it happened quick enough that I didn't have to go back and beg for my job back. Let's just say that. So I don't know if you want to add to that.
So yeah, just as the other side of that story, being in the corporate world, I started out in insurance. And so when we had our children, I walked away from a job with benefits. He was as a youth pastor, but I carried the insurance because that's how it goes, And so we lived in the 100-year-old duplex. And I went from being a career woman to being a stay-at-home mom, which was quite a shock. Our daughter had medical complications and we had no plan. And so real estate really was the saving grace. Really, we feel like God led us to that property because it made all the difference for us in those very lean years. So for people that are maybe experiencing those lean years now in our current economic situation, real estate was a very good opportunity for us in our journey to help keep our nose above water. And so we, like Kurt said, had built a financial area. I had always kept my insurance. I had done financial coaching in the community just on the side as a mom and keeping my insurance certifications and things. And so when our compensation was cut and I was pregnant with baby number 6, that definitely opened up my eyes to how the different options in real estate could benefit our family. And so for me, continuing that opportunity in real estate, we did 17 turns or acquisitions in 15 months with a newborn. We don't necessarily recommend that, but without having a community of real estate investors, I don't think we would have been near as successful. I know for sure we wouldn't have. We are surrounded by a fantastic community of real estate investors in addition to our coach. And I know that a lot of people may be feeling like, well, I want to invest in real estate. How can I spend money on investing in a mastermind or mentorship or education? And really, as a financial coach, I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people's financials, and I know there is always a way. There's always money that can be found, and there is always a more than enough return on education and mentorship and a mastermind. And so we practice what we preach. Kurt said, before we ever took an owner draw, we were paying our coach. And that is very, very well worth it. Even while I was trying to cook and feed our family beans and rice, whatever we could do, it was worth it to have that community and that support in that acquisition time. And so I guess you asked what we do day to day. And then I'll let Kurt talk about what he does day to day as a mom of 6. It's definitely a challenge to homeschool and to integrate our business, but I am so excited to be able to teach our children at all different levels about real estate investing. So if there's any women that are saying, can I do this? Is this possible? Is it something that is a viable option for my family? I have teens to toddlers, and they are very involved in our business. And I integrate that into our homeschooling. So I take care of the financial side. I do tax strategy, insurance review. My area of specialty is what I did for my career, and I've been able to come and bless my husband's vision with those skill sets and support what his vision is for our business. So that's kind of what my day-to-day takes into account. So do you want to go ahead and do yours?
Yeah, so it probably looks a lot like Chad's. I mean, it sounds similar in that we raise money with we work with a lot of private lenders, and so it's now we don't have a property management company yet, so we do all our own property management. So we keep that in house. So that does take time and effort. But we have systems in place that it's not excruciating. It's not a big deal. We just deal with it, and it doesn't take up too much time. But yeah, I mean, talking to lenders and dealing with contractors, we're always doing rehabs, always. And I like it that way. I like just keeping rolling. Like I want to end a project, begin a project, have some overlap, and so managing that is a lot of probably my day to day is just managing those projects. And on this one, I'm working in it. I'm sitting here picking paint off my fingernails, it's. But
we've all been there.
It's right. Sometimes you got to get in it, man. Sometimes you got to get in it and make it happen. So. And
do you have any moving forward types of real estate strategies that have interested you?
Yeah, so as crazy as it was, raising money was really intimidating to me. I was intimidated by every aspect of this. If it makes it sound like it's true, I really was. And so raising money was no different. But when you don't have any money and you're not making enough to make ends meet, you find ways to, and so I raised money. My coach taught me how to do it, and so that's how we started using private money. But I would really like to possibly get into syndicating larger deals because I enjoy that. I tend to enjoy bringing people together and seeing them get a return on their money. They get pretty excited about that when they don't have to do anything for it except put money in people.
Absolutely.
And to be clear, we do still have different interests in real estate, even though we're pulling in the same direction. So if people are saying, well, I'm not interested in the same thing my spouse is, that's okay. Because we do still have the end goal in sight. We talk about it all the time, our perspectives on this. But for moving forward, I love to empower and work with people in mentorship and teaching and being able to help protect the assets. So I do, I really like the acquisition part that Kurt does, because we do oftentimes come into contact with dilapidated houses or drug houses, areas that really are in need of restoration. So I'm looking forward to those, continuing those acquisitions, but also the protecting side of that, because there is a technical side of having a legal and tax strategy and having the insurance coverage, things in place to be able to make those restorations possible. So that's something that I'm looking forward to continuing, is those acquisitions, and then also teaching those type of concepts so that our communities are improved. There's definitely a need in so many communities for that kind of restoration, that we're not just real estate investors, we're actually raising the quality of life in our respective communities. We're housing providers. We provide homes for people that really mean something to them. And that's what I'm really passionate about and looking forward to.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick. My journey is, I think, a little bit younger than you guys, which I hope is a benefit to the overall group. We've only been doing this about 5 years, and never thought I would do anything outside of ministry. I was not raised in the church, but that's where God led me, and I loved what I did. I absolutely loved what I did, and I got to use some of my, I guess, entrepreneurial gifts and launching things, planting things, birthing things. Every traditional church I was brought to was to change it, to make it new again, or to make it thrive, or to make it go from wandering away to turning around and seeing it thrive. And so I like that. Came to Arizona to plant my second church. And about 5 weeks after I got here, the guy that was kind of spearheading everything, these two larger churches coming together, left and didn't share that with me, even though I had grilled him while I was still living in the Northwest in Seattle about where he wanted to be, what his long-term effort, because these were two very healthy churches. He was the younger of the two. It was 5 years old, but it was the fastest growing church really in Arizona. And the older church was looking for a transition, but was very healthy. And so they had been mentoring the younger pastor, who was close in my age. And so I really loved what they were doing. So our family chose to come down here and to live in a specific part of the city, to plant a church that would be a part of a group. And it was a very fascinating time. Never been through anything like that. Thought we were going to go back to the Northwest, but just started connecting to another church planter who I had helped. He was going through some tough stuff when he was planting, and he had gotten into real estate and was just incredibly successful. And just said, man, what are you doing? He shared a little bit of it. He actually flew down here on his dime. And then, I mean, the first 10 minutes that we were in his hotel room, he had me on the phone doing acquisitions for him, for his properties back in Colorado, or what leads that were coming in. And he just kind of knew how I was gifted and said, hey, I think you would be great in that. What I'm talking about specifically is wholesaling, because when you're a pastor, you don't have major amounts of resources to go in and start buying a bunch of properties. So you look at ways that you could acquire, and then once you've acquired or have the property under contract, you can legally have equitable rights to assign that property to an investor like these guys that are on this mastermind, who are looking for properties. And I can make a small fee, an assignment fee, by helping finding properties for people that want to either flip or hold, or do something else with the property. And so that was how I got into it, a little bit by myself and a little bit actually working for him and another nationally known person. And I really loved it. I love the idea of getting on the phone with somebody in regards to real estate and listening more to their issue of why they want to sell the property, because usually they're at a point where they have to sell the property and they're looking for some other strategy than the traditional way. And there's nothing wrong with the traditional way. My wife is a real estate agent, but they're in a situation where they can't. And so there is money to be made. But I like the process, like Kurt said, I like the process of putting it all together. There's somebody that needs to sell. There's somebody that wants to buy. Who can get these guys together in a situation and think creatively on how this transition could work that benefits the seller and it benefits the buyer. And I'm not saying that traditional that doesn't happen, but a lot of times these are people that they can't do that, or they'll end up walking away with nothing, or even having to bring more money to the closing table. So I've been wholesaling for the last 5 years, but with my two partners, one that's 2 years old and one that's about 4 years old, we've kind of turned the corner, and we love that part of the business, but we have been flipping as well. And now we're trying to not have to wholesale all the time, because wholesaling is great. It is a great opportunity. But when you're wholesaling, you have to keep wholesaling if you're going to keep money coming in. So you're always looking for the next deal, which I enjoy, but my wife maybe would not like some of the stress of always having to look for the next deal, the marketing. But there's also an aspect of building an acquisitions team and dispositions. And I love that. I love building teams. That's what I was good at in ministry. And I love doing that. So there's that aspect, but we are buying and keeping, or buying and holding, which I really like. So I've been dabbling in the raising money. So that's where I say I'm the newbie. I knew I could be good at it, and everybody told me you're dumb for not doing it. But there's always that intimidation aspect of, wow, a lot of my connections are people that have done ministry. I don't want them to think I'm trying to take advantage. But the beauty is that in the process of you buying a property, you actually are helping somebody make money with their money. So there is a huge advantage of them getting involved, not only in the making money, but a lot of times, most of the time in mine, a better return than where their money. And just recently, I did a deal where I bought a house from a gentleman, and he became the lender for the rehab. And he asked, because his money was making 3 or 4%, and I was willing to give him 8%. And so he thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I bought his house for 50 cents on the dollar. So it was a win-win for all of us. So I feel like I have a lot to learn from you guys, which is why I'm excited to be a part of it. But I know I have some giftings and some things that others have shared that you need to pass on. And so there's always within me, whatever you learn, who are you turning around and giving that back to? So that's why I'm here, is everything that I have learned, and it has been a lot, I want to give back. And I want to see people, I know you guys have this heart. My heart is, rescuing marriages and showing people there are other ways to make money to go do the things that you really want to go do. So as far as my goal in the future, definitely the mobile home park multifamily is very exciting to me. Again, because there's people at those places. So you're providing a cool place for people to live based on where they're at. And then, like I think it was Kurt said, the syndication part. I have a friend, it's actually a former student in my ministry, who has in 2 years already bought 3 apartment complexes. So I'm like, okay, I want to learn what you're doing. So yeah, I'm very excited in multi.
Well, from the outside, Chris, real quick, from my perspective, I always enjoy talking to you, because you're talking about deals in North Carolina and Memphis and Washington, and I don't even look at deals in my entire city. I have my neighborhoods that I look at deals, and if the house is 30 minutes away, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to mess with that one. And so I think for investors, one of the things that we really struggle with is building a system so other people can do the tasks that we're trying to do, empowering others to work together on a team. And so I think you have a wealth of knowledge in that arena, being able to work in multiple markets around the country.
Yeah, I enjoy that. Well, tell me Chad a little bit about this, kind of some of the nuts and bolts, like if somebody is going to be interested to do this, what's their on-ramp? You know, what's the process going to be to join something like this?
Yeah, the on-ramp is you go to the website, truewealthinvestors.com/mastermind. And we've got some more information on that page. You can submit that you're interested, and then we'll send you an email asking a few questions about just to get to know you better, get to know your business better. And really, the key to that is we want people who are active investors, who are passionate, who are driven, and really want to not only invest the money and the time, but want to invest the sweat equity to make their business better and get to the next level. So that's who we're wanting to find. And so if that's you, start that process, fill out the form on that page, and then we'll reach out to you and get the ball started from there.
Okay.
We're planning on the first meeting being the first week in November, which is around the corner. And I don't think we've mentioned price yet, but the price point for an individual is $297. For a couple to join together is $397 a month. However, for the first 6 members, we're giving a $100 discount. So when you hear this, when you are listening to this message, do not delay. Jump on the website, fill out the form, get that ball started, and I know you'll be glad you did. I am really excited to meet all the people who have this burning in their heart to make their businesses better. I'm looking forward to the meetings and those discussions as well.
Sure. So let's talk about that real quick. We know we're charging for this. What would be, and I'll let any of the 3 of you choose to chew on this and talk about it. Why would we charge?
Well, I love to have this question actually posed to me, because as a financial coach in my background, this is always a question of how should you allocate your resources wisely? And that is a very valid question, because a lot of people are saving up for rehab, or saving up for a down payment, or saving up for an acquisition or a refinance. And so there are so many things in real estate that you could invest in. So why should you invest in a mastermind? And the answer is because it will put you so far exponentially ahead in being able to make connections, that the things that we thought at the beginning were important to invest in our mentorship and the programs we've done weren't necessarily the right things. We saved so much money by investing in our mentorship and our own education and our own groups. We saved hundreds of times over the small amount of money that it took to invest. So why should you? Because you're a wise investor, because you know there are gaps, just all of us have them, that need to be filled in, and we always allocate our resources wisely. And if money is an issue, just know that there is always a way to find that, and still fill out the form. Take that step of faith, right? That there is going to be a way to find the support that you need. And having that investment is always going to produce a return.
Kurt, Chad, anybody?
Yeah, no, I mean, just that was great. I mean, piggybacking on that, I know when we hired a coach, I don't even know how much money we have made, not to mention saved, but just the income that we've been able to produce for our family. I mean, I don't even know that I could really quantify it. I mean, I could go to see what we were earning then to what we're earning now, but I don't even think that tells the whole tale of the tape, right? But just that alone, we knew we needed some support. And for us, that investment, like, that can never be taken away. Like the knowledge and experience that we got from our coach and the relationships that we've got, no one can ever take that knowledge away. Like, we invested money into that in a season when we didn't have any income coming in, and we're still reaping the benefits from it today. I mean, it'll never, no matter what, we could have another recession or whatever, and that knowledge will stay there. I mean, it can never be taken away.
Yeah, I agree completely. It is an investment. And me personally, I've been a member of both a paid mastermind and an unpaid mastermind. And I got a much greater value from the paid mastermind, partially my own investment that I had spent money on it and I really wanted to get the most out of it. But additionally, the paid mastermind had a leader who was putting energy and time into hosting it and preparing for it, and really, spending a lot of time and energy in that group and each of the members. And the unpaid mastermind has a tendency to slip into a social club, which isn't good or bad. There's just much more value that you'll receive out of a paid mastermind. And I think what you said, Kurt, is a great point, that your network that you get out of paid coaching and a paid mastermind is a really big benefit. And I realized on this call that the only way we all know each other is from paid coaching and mastermind relationships. And so that network that you build from those relationships is really worthwhile. You can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, is there anything that anybody else would want to add? I mean, I think for me, anybody that chooses to pay to come to this needs to understand that we are going to put forth a great effort to not only listen to where you're at, as well as the group that will form out of this, but we'll also encourage. We don't want you to quit. There's always a desire to keep going, but then there's also going to be an aspect of challenging. The hope is to challenge, to stretch. I fully expect to be stretched in this process. And to me, I tell my kids this, and I learned it from CrossFit. My first week into CrossFit was just a birthday gift. I just wanted to go. And I remember going to breakfast with the CrossFit coach. And it was a cool story. I'll tell it real quick. He had never been to church ever in his entire life. And I had never been to CrossFit except for that first week. And I said, I asked the guy, I said, Coach, tell me about CrossFit as far as if I want to make this a continuation. And he said, and I think this applies to all parts of life. He said, Chris, if you can get comfortable being uncomfortable, you're going to love CrossFit. And what was really cool, after listening to him for about 30 minutes, he said, what do you think about church? And I said, hey, Coach, if you can be comfortable being uncomfortable, you are going to love church. And so, but what I found was that just kind of, anytime there's growth in my life, or anytime there's a chance to do something like in real estate, you have to get uncomfortable. I secured 5 new lenders last week on one deal, all Chick-fil-A owners. And one of them was just a former student in my ministry. And he had been watching me, and I just finally got uncomfortable and started posting things on Instagram that, hey, I bought a house, let's go buy a house together. And even though that's so simple, there's always a voice inside of me that says, oh, you're stupid. There's better people than you. There's smarter people than you. Why would anybody want to team with you? And yet some of my friends were watching, and he called, and we needed to close on 3 properties. And these guys had all been talking about it. And I just got uncomfortable and got in front of them, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And now they want to fly me to Denver and share more about how they can be involved. And I'm like, this is crazy. So you're going to come and you're going to get a chance to voice. We're going to listen. The group's going to encourage, and we're going to definitely challenge to hopefully have a stretching process in your life that will increase your knowledge so that you can go do some of the things that you want to do in real estate. That's a great vehicle to provide for your family, but also for the things that you really want to do in life. So I'll give you each a couple of seconds, minutes, whatever you want to say. You were going to say something to somebody about why to join the mastermind. What are the 1 or 2 things that pop into your mind before we get off here?
Well, I would say the name of the group is the Elevate Mastermind Group, and it's all about getting your business to the next level. So if you're content where your business is, then you should just keep doing what you're doing. But if you're not quite where you want to be, if you want to improve your business, make it bigger, better, then you need to do something uncomfortable or do something that you're not doing. And this mastermind group is going to be a great opportunity for that. So I would just encourage you, you don't have to know how it's all going to work out. You don't have to know exactly what the impact is going to be. But if you really want to get to the next level, I would say take that first step and take this opportunity to get your business there.
Yeah, and I would just add that no matter what level you're at, I mean, the whole, like Chad said, the Elevate theme is no matter where you're at, it's taking that your business or your goals to the next point. So whether you're a seasoned investor that owns several units, or a wholesaler or a flipper or whatever, or if you're new but you're passionate, you're willing to work, you're hitting it, and you got someplace you want to go, no matter where you fall on that spectrum, you know, we're going to be a group that can speak to whatever that is. Because the one thing all three of us, or four of us, have in common, three households have in common, is that we were all beginners at one point. We were all starting from nothing at one point. So we know what that was like. And but between us three households, we also have a lot of experience. And no matter what issue, I'm confident that as a group, no matter what issue you're dealing with, if it's a high level issue, we're going to be able to as a mastermind collectively, we're going to come up with solutions that would be difficult to come up with on our own by ourselves. And that's the whole point. And that's how we elevate our business, and that's how it really takes off.
And just to kind of close it out, as far as being able to find value in this group, it really is about being ready to grow and learn and understand that the network, that the people that you run with, is really a determining factor of how your business grows. And when people join this mastermind, you know, they're building connections with all of us, and we all have our own networks that we can problem solve and pull resources to. So I would say, gosh, I wish I would have had this when we first started out. I wish I would have had, you know, another couple, or, you know, be able to connect with the different networks represented here, because we are in economic times that are going to be challenging, but are also posing some very unique opportunities. And so now is the time. There is no time to delay. There are people that need real solutions in the area of housing, and we have an opportunity, and I believe a moral opportunity that is a right choice to step into some really difficult times and provide solutions. So yeah, that's kind of my stance of what I would share to folks.
For me, the book Rocket Fuel comes to mind. You know, there's that concept of there's a visionary and there's an implementer, you know, but it's when you partner those together, that's when true explosion takes place. And maybe some of the people that are considering are visionaries, but they struggle with implementation, which would be me. I'm a visionary, and I'm always looking for people that understand systems, because I can work well with them because I can share with them, but they have a heart, a gift to actually build out, you know, where I want to go. And sometimes coming in a group like this, there might even be a connection with two people that they become more of a company or a team because they're gifted. I look forward to, in regards to Rocket Fuel, deals that could be done within the group. This guy's this and she's that, and they're talented, but they need each other to complete a deal, or maybe even collaborate to do the deal together. I mean, before this, I was telling you guys, I've got a lot of product to move and I want to buy. Is there a way we can figure this out? So that's the part I like, is that when you get in there and relationships start happening, and then there's the synergy of actually, wow, I'm not only benefiting by the growth, I'm actually benefiting by doing business together. And I think we've all met people within groups that we've paid to be a part of, that we've actually done business together with. So real quick, Elevate, why the name? Let's just hit on that real quick. Why the name Elevate? Chad, you just hit on it. Kurt, tell me.
Yeah, so the whole idea of Elevate was, as we were talking as a group, that was one of the discussions. I don't know how long we've been talking about just what to name the group. But that was the whole, like, we're looking for a word to capture what it meant to go to the next level, to lift no matter where you find yourself, to be able to achieve that next goal or that next level. And to elevate really encompasses that whole concept that we're going to lift each other up. I mean, we're going to not just in your business, but like you said, Chris, encouraging one another. I mean, because so much of this game of real estate and being a business owner is our mindset, is not getting discouraged. You know, Elizabeth and I, we always joke that we just both can't quit on the same day, right? And we're good, you know. And but that is so much of it is keeping in the game and keeping our mindset where it needs to be, and it's elevating that to constantly. I mean, none of us on here, we've all even said, none of us have arrived. We're not starting a mastermind because we've arrived and we're like, well, hey, you need all your answers from us. Like, we're saying we're out there hitting it. We're out there lifting our game up, and so that was what we wanted to embody with Elevate.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to hand it back over to Chad. For me, it's just Elevate is this might say a strange answer, but I'm elevating because I'm taking massive imperfect action. You know, I'm failing so much, but it's allowing me to move forward. It's by taking action, you know, presenting a need to a lender and them saying no, some would view as a failure. And I'm like, no, it was imperfect because they chose not to be a part of it, but I've got to do that massively. And just by taking massive action, and I say imperfect action, allows me to grow and get uncomfortable and learn. But next thing you know, I start to elevate a little bit. I start to grow. I start to get a little bit of what we would call a victory. And so for me, I'm excited for that part, to see each of us elevate our businesses in the process of turning around and giving back and sharing our failures and the action that we are taking. We are out there just taking action. We're not saying that we're perfect. We're not saying that we're the best, but we got a lot of story to tell based on the action that we have taken at this point. And I think it was Kurt that said at the very beginning, so learn from others. You know, let us help you maybe not make the mistakes we made and get you to where you want to go faster than we got there. So Chad, thanks so much for letting me kind of lead the question asking, but this is your thing. So I want to pass it back on to you and just say we're grateful to be here and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, I appreciate you leading. Appreciate everybody coming on, sharing your perspective. I am honestly very excited to be meeting weekly and to see really where the discussion will go and what will come from it. So I look forward to it. Thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, man.